It was 41-37. The Thunder then have come with 3 3-point field goals as part of a 9-point run. McConnell wide open. Here comes a 3 left of center, and McConnell with a much-needed 3-ball. It's halftime in Oklahoma City. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder 57, the Indiana Pacers 45.
The first half was rough.
The third quarter draws to a close with the score, the Oklahoma City Thunder 85, the Indiana Pacers 76. Nembhard drives and delivers it back to the edge of the arc where Toppin knocks down another 3. He's got a 3-point field goal in each of the 4 quarters, and the lead is down to 11. And sends it out to Toppin, who finds his 5th 3-point field goal of the night. 1:04 to go. The Pacers are down by 3. Toppin has it, center of the floor, Siakam. Under a minute to go in the 4th quarter. 110-107. Nembhard working Wallace. He'll launch a 3 and leave it short. Rebound, Siakam. It's a 1-point game as he lays it off the right-hand glass. Rebound, Indiana. 8 seconds to go. The Pacers are not going to call a timeout. Halliburton has it with 3, driving with 2, pulling up, and hitting with 0.3 of a second to go. How many more times can this team do that?
Sweet baby.
Welcome into the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Kylan Talley, Jeff Rickard, and the unstoppable Indiana Pacers, who just keep finding ways and keep pulling rabbits out of hats, and however you want to describe it, Kevin Bowen, it just doesn't stop. I don't even know what to say about this team anymore.
Am I allowed to pray on the show? Is that it?
Yes.
Is that allowed?
Amen.
Okay, all right, here we are, Friday morning. Dear Lord, can you please pray for people that don't watch sports? And can you also please pray for people that don't believe in the Indiana Pacers and go to bed before the clock says 0, 0, 0? Amen.
Amen.
I just want to make sure I prayed for all these people that are
right.
not witnessing what is a real-life movie right now. Boy, we've done this show now 4 times, guys, have we not? And hell, we did it numerous times in the month of March. Like, I thought March was insane. I asked Rick Carlisle, that's the craziest month you've ever coached, is it not? And now here we are, 8 points in 9 seconds in each of these 4 series. It's absurd. James Boyd, you said to me walking in, I can't believe he hit the shot. And I would counter to say, you sure? Because as soon as he got the ball, it was over. Like, they have turned us into believers.
Yes.
And boy, I now I really feel like I'm preaching here on this Friday morning.
Yes, Lord.
But I'm serious, man. Like, hell,
Say it, Kevin. Say it.
as soon as Neesmith hit the 3 in the corner to cut it to 6 there with about 2 minutes to go, I said, this is going to happen again. And indeed it did.
The way I looked at it, honestly, Kevin, the reason I said I can't believe he made the shot is because not that I don't believe that he can make it. I just feel like at some point the percentages have to swing back a little.
I know, man. But
I'm like, what are you shooting 91% on game winners or game tiers in the playoffs so far? I mean, every single round we've seen a shot like this, and it has been incredible. But I'll say this. I know everyone's going to remember that shot. Obviously, the Andrew Nembhard step back on SGA. But the shot that made me think, oh, they're going to do this, was when Miles Turner banked in the 3. When he banked in the 3, I was like, oh, you must be living right. Like, we talk about karma and how things come back to get you. What type of lifestyle is Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner living to make these types of shots? Because at some point, I'm like, is this just good karma coming back around? Like, unbelievable. The guy drops his signature shoe, or at least his signature shoe on the day of the NBA Finals debut, brings him to the podium, slaps him down. I'm like, what kind of advertisement movie-esque run is this? So I was speechless. Honestly, I don't know what to say. To my neighbors who might have heard me scream, sorry. Just get used to it. Every 7 or 8 days, I'm going to scream because Halliburton rips the soul out of a team. Because as I told you in the last round, now I feel like, and I still feel very confident in OKC being in this series. It's going to be a long series, I believe. But you're asking them to go win 5 because they had that game and they blew it. Oh, my gosh.
It was unbelievable. And to your point, Kevin, If you go to bed now with 2 minutes to go and the Pacers are down 8, 9, 10 points, I can't help you. At this point in time, something is going to happen. It may not always end up with a game winner, although it seems to, but that game is not over. And Coach Daigneault from Oklahoma City was talking about this afterwards. Was he surprised? No, because this is the identity of this team now. It is who they are, James.
You talked about the coaching, and how about the mind games being played before the game even started? They changed their starting lineup. They changed it after winning 68 games in the regular season. Now, I know Chet Holmgren missed a bunch of time in the regular season, so it was already different during that span. But the core of who you are, you changed it. Why? To me, that was like that's such a big tactical change. And again, I feel like Rick Carlisle, to Jeff's point, he outcoached the man. He outcoached Daigneault yesterday, and it cost them in a way that I haven't seen. They had, 25 turnovers, the Pacers, and they won the game. So if you're OKC, I know people are like, oh, man, Halliburton might not make that shot again. They can't be keeping these crazy runs. Yeah, but you didn't capitalize on, like, the one game where they played awful offensively. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the only part of the formula that I thought was necessary was getting them to the clutch. Now, to me, that's the biggest part of the formula. I mean, I probably beat that horse too much, honestly, over the last 4 days with you guys and saying, just get to 5 minutes and put game pressure on them. Because I think you saw it firsthand. I'm watching Shea look at Mark Daigneault like, hey, what are we doing here late? They're not used to that. They just wilted, and the Pacers continue, whether it's Neesmith hitting the challenge three in the corner, whether it's the Nembhard step back. How about the lane violation, guys? I mean, it's just like every little thing happens to go. And I thought this was the least pukey by the opponent of the collapse. Like, I thought Milwaukee, Cleveland, maybe even a little bit of New York, they largely threw up on themselves. Fair. Oklahoma City obviously had some issues in the last handful of minutes, but it wasn't as fluky as the others. And yet, as soon as Shea missed it, and once, Rick Carlisle, once again, he's not going to take a timeout in those situations. I thought Oklahoma City missed an opportunity to get Dort on Halliburton. I couldn't believe that Dort had a great opportunity to guard Halliburton on that final possession, and he just kind of wandered over to Nembhard, and it became Case and Wallace. And Case Wallace is a fine defender, but he's not Lou Dort. And again, on a night when Halliburton was, I would say, rather quiet for his lofty standard, for him to once again embrace the moment, be the moment, however you want to do it. I mean, guys, on these shots for Halliburton, 3 of the 4 have happened on the road. Have they all happened with the Pacers down? Maybe the Milwaukee one was a tie game. I don't know. They all run together at this point. But think about the variety of the shots. He drives on Giannis. He has a step back over Ty Jerome. He has a step back over Mitchell Robinson. And then last night, he takes like a 18-footer that, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting him to take once he got the ball, but with so much time left, I thought I don't know. I thought he'd take a shot that was a little bit more of like patented him. I don't think of him as like going to his right, pulling up from 18 feet. And yet, bang, as Mike Breen would say. I mean, 3 of the 4 shots away from home, 3 of the 4 shots when you're down, and it is absolutely soul-crushing. I said it to end the show yesterday. If the Pacers get game 1, it's Pacers in 6. And I wake up today and think there is no reason why I would disagree with that. Maybe the Thunder are too young. Maybe the Denver series, built them for this. They lost game 1 for those unfamiliar in that Denver series. They came back emphatically in game 2. But I just think it is so soul-crushing to have that done against you. And I'm at a loss again.
Man, I'll say this. SGA, phenomenal. MVP performance. Obviously missed a shot late, but throughout that game, I was thinking to myself, man, the rest of these guys look horrendous. Their offensive game plan was horrible. I mean,
that was the second worst shooting night of the year for the Thunder. So probably both teams wake up today and say, the Pacers, we're not going to turn it over like that again, obviously. And the Thunder would say, we're not going to shoot it that poorly again if we want to try to move on to game 2. But damn, man, this Pacers season, it's going to take like 13 years off my life.
No, should add to your life.
But seriously,
add to it. I'm getting no sleep. I'm going to need another hair transplant. The gray hairs are going to be everywhere.
Well. It's going well.
Maddie screamed so loud when Halliburton hit that shot. And I'm just like, gosh, now I'm wired till 3 a.m.
Dude, I had to,
It's not healthy. My heart is racing with the head on the pillow.
Yeah.
At like 2:32 in the morning.
Did you have that moment, though? Because I'm not going to lie. Even just waking up this morning, I was like, this actually happened again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've realized.
Like, am I dreaming?
At each of the 4 comebacks, when the alarm goes off, there's no there's no attempt to snooze. It's like it feels like not that I've injected things into my veins before. It just feels like coffee is just right there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this show again.
Man,
it's the same damn show, right?
It's a great show.
I'll keep doing it as many times as we need. I need to do this show 3 more times.
I mean, oh my goodness.
Can some of the wins look a little different than last night?
I don't care how they come.
For 47 minutes.
Right, to Jeff's point, beggars can't be choosers, right?
Seconds.
Here's the one thing
so different.
I will say about the Pacers. Whatever they did at halftime, man, they got themselves centered. Degno likes to call it grounded, returning to zero, whatever you want to call it. They came out in the second half, scored 66 points, limited the turnovers to 5, and most of that came, they were down 15 in the fourth quarter. But somehow this team just doesn't back down.
They don't. And as I was beginning to say earlier before we all kind of just lost our minds again, which will happen throughout the show, I thought Oklahoma City's offensive process was horrible. Beyond SGA. If you look at some of the shot attempts from certain guys.
I thought Jalen Williams was really bad.
Jalen Williams, he came out the gate shooting mid-range jump shots like he was prime Kawhi Leonard or Kevin Durant. I'm like,
and that is an all-star for those that haven't been paying attention to the Thunder.
He was 6 for 19 from the floor. How many times did Chet Holmgren try to drive to the basket on Miles Turner? I'm like, what are you doing? But if you're a Pacers fan, you're like, yes, do more of that, please. And one guy I definitely tip my cap to, well, there'll be plenty of guys throughout the show, Obi Toppin.
Yes.
Yep.
He started horrendously. Mm-hmm. The lights looked so bright for this man, and credit to Rick Carlisle for allowing him to play through a lot of that stuff, because I was thinking to myself, oh, brother, you got to get him out of here. And he eventually did. I think after the third turnover, he was kind of like, all right, I got to get you just a breather. But the way he settled in, the shot making that he had to keep him kind of just close enough, hats off to him, because that could have went sideways. And again, they never really could push it to that 20-point margin. It was always 15, 13, and they just kept hanging around, and they came back and stunned them.
Yeah, I'd throw McConnell in there as well. Obi, I think, deserves to be a little bit higher if I'm going to rank him, but I thought McConnell helped you weather it. But, guys, I know I've said this on the 3 previous comeback shows, so I apologize for saying it again, but they have turned fans into believers. We're getting out of the 2-out jam. We're going to get the timely base hit.
We got a closer, too.
Going to get the
good point, yes.
third down stop. It's Jack Buck, I don't believe what I just saw. It's Al Michaels, do you believe in miracles? It's Vern Lundquist in your life. It's all of it. And to Halliburton, he's Robert Ory. I don't know why I'm thinking of Oreos. Robert Ory, Mariano Rivera, Tiger Woods into one.
How about the Grim Reaper?
It's
just comes and takes your soul.
It's like frankly, it's like we were watching a movie, and just like the Hoosiers, this is a real movie about the team from Indiana.
All the way back to the high bounce off the rim and the slow motion.
All the way back to
coming
March.
Back down.
Like
yes.
That was like the third act of it all. It's the book that keeps on adding like when you think the plot has finally turned, they're like, oh, no, let's do it one more time. No. Let's do it one more time.
Think about this. If you go back to that game in March against Milwaukee, and it happened like 15 feet in front of me, when Halliburton makes the 4-point play, he can look at it now and go, oh, you haven't seen anything yet. I'm just getting going. This is just the beginning. This is the opening act.
This is his second playoff run.
It's insane.
And he has more game winners than Hall of Famers. Oh, my goodness.
He's second only. He's tied for second right now, second only to LeBron for playoff.
And how long
game
has he
winners.
been playing? Goodness gracious.
LeBron's been playing since the 1700s. So coming up in a moment, we'll give you more details on how it all went down last night. Also, another very interesting story coming out of West 56th yesterday, gentlemen. We'll touch on it in a moment. Next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Kevin Bowen, if you missed it somehow, some way, you're just joining us this morning, how do I even start to talk about last night's Game 1 Pacers victory in Oklahoma City? Where do we start?
The movie we have seemingly watched now 3 different times here in the playoffs. It was played, you picture your favorite movie, picture your dramatic moment, all of it exactly the same. The same characters, I guess a different arena maybe is the only difference. The Pacers on the road. They did it again.
Yeah, they did it again. And James Boyd, they put it in the hands of Tyrese Halliburton again, and everybody's okay with that.
I thought that was Jimmy Chitwood. Because honestly, the way it's going, he is playing like he's in the movie.
The Chitwood shot. Did he
I
go
know,
to his
he
right?
looks like he's playing in the movie Hoosiers with this run. So it is magical stuff. I'm enjoying it. And to my neighbors or anybody within a 10-mile radius of where I live, yes, 10-mile radius, I'm sorry.
Well, with 2.5 minutes to go, the Pacers trailed by how many, James Boyd? Was it a 9-point deficit with 2.5 minutes to go?
Not enough,
And they chipped away, and they got the ball back after an SGA miss with 8 seconds left. They did not take a timeout. Listen for yourself.
Rebound, Indiana. 8 seconds to go. The Pacers are not going to call a timeout. Halliburton has it with 3, driving with 2, pulling up, and hitting with 0.3 of a second to go. How many more times can this team do that?
Sweet baby.
Mark Boyle, Eddie Gill, as heard right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Mark Boyle, who has seen and done it all in his career, is mystified and amazed. You can hear it in his voice.
We've talked about this. Mark Boyle is the consummate pro. He is one of the, I believe, rare play-by-play announcers or radio broadcasters that doesn't really lean fully 100% into the team angle and takes such like a cheerleading type of approach. So when he gets excited like that, crazy things are happening, and we saw it again last night. So great call, great moment.
All right. On the night, Pascal Siakam leading the way in points, 19 points, 10 rebounds. Aaron Nesmith had a double-double with 10 points and 12 boards. Tyrese Halliburton, of course, a fairly quiet night again up until that. He even had a few more turnovers than he usually has. But he had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists when it was all said and done. Andrew Nembhard ended up with 14 points. But Obi Toppin, guys, you talked about it a minute ago, Kevin. He comes off a really, really brutal first stretch when he got into the game in the first half. He had 3 straight turnovers. Rick pulls him out and says, settle down a little bit. But he stays with him. 5 of 8 from three-point range, ends up with 17 points, and they don't come back and win that game without him.
No, and I think they did a nice job of, like, it never got to 18 or 20. You know, if it gets to that point, boy, I don't know. Maybe you're not able to execute the comeback. So, Obi, very good. I thought, honestly, like, Shepard hits an open 3. Thomas Bryant hits an open 3. I thought T.J. McConnell gave you some nice minutes as well. But I want to go back to the overall comeback. You said down 9 with 2:30 to go. Nesmith challenge 3, Nembhard step back, and SGA's face. I mean, those two. It's fitting. It's those two that get you to Halliburton hitting the shot. Like, we focus so much on Halliburton hitting the shot. Do not forget about Nembhard and Nesmith. Those are the two that seemingly every time there's a comeback that happens, their fingerprints are all over it. And obviously, they came up with what? Nembhard and Nesmith combined for the big stop on the other end of the floor when SGA misses and then Ty, of course, makes. But when that Nembhard 3 went in, or I guess the Nesmith 3, honestly, when that made it 108-102, I just said to myself, it's going to happen again. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to happen again. So Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, once again delivering in the final few minutes.
Here's the other big play, too, that we probably don't talk enough about and probably won't throughout the day. Nembhard misses with about 40 seconds to go, and Pascal Siakam is there to get the offensive rebound and the putback, which puts them in position and sets the stage for that play right there.
Absolutely, and we can break down so many different moments in this game where they should have lost or would have lost. Even the out-of-bounds play where I was like, man, did Pascal get fouled there? They review it, no foul, OKC ball. They get to stop Aaron Nesmith, who's everywhere all the time, gets the clutch rebound to even give you an opportunity to go down there and win it. So, again, every part of this game, you can see the fingerprints from so many different players making key plays, and that's what makes the Pacers so unique. It's not one guy destroying you. It's these little cuts by everybody, and then here comes, the Grim Reaper, the Slim Reaper, Tyrese Halliburton, just coming to take your soul.
Well, they end up winning it 111-110. Game 2 will be Sunday night in Oklahoma City again. This one starts a little earlier at 8 p.m., 7:30, the network pregame here with Pat Boylan and JMV and a cast of thousands. We'll have a pre beginning at 6 o'clock, 6 to 7:30. So we've got that going on Sunday night. That was fantastic. All right, we also had news yesterday. You guys were out at West 56th covering the Colts, and Shane Steichen seemingly out of nowhere announces that there's another problem with the AC joint in the shoulder of Anthony Richardson, and he is going to miss the rest of OTAs. What did we learn?
Well, from what Shane Steichen told us, this happened last Thursday, and he described it as an aggravation of Anthony Richardson's AC joint. For those who may be unfamiliar of when he actually got it surgically repaired, this was back in October of 2023 when he went down with a severe AC joint sprain, missed the remainder of his rookie season, had surgery, and really hasn't had too many complications or problems since then. So this is alarming. It is certainly a setback, and for those who are trying to gauge where the quarterback battle is, obviously he's lost ground, Kevin, because he's unavailable to get the reps that we all keep saying he needs to get.
Kevin, I have a question for you. I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat for a moment, okay? Is it possible that the Colts know a lot more about the medicals of Anthony Richardson, and maybe that's one of the primary reasons they went out and got a Daniel Jones, aside from just competition? Is that possible?
I would say Anthony Richardson's injury history contributed to them going out and getting Daniel Jones. I don't know specifically if they had issues about his right shoulder still. I mean,
he was throwing and did throw all off season.
James hit on it, but just take it a step further. I mean, guys, he had surgery 20 months ago. You shouldn't have aggravations 20 months later. That's not a good thing at all. And it's not like workload-wise, he's ramped it up to where he's throwing 6 days a week right now. I mean, this is still a bit of a subdued work. He's not even taking all the starting reps. I mean, him and Daniel Jones are splitting reps, and this injury occurred last Thursday in his second 11-on-11 practice of the year. So I think Daniel Jones will be the week 1 starter. I guess if you want to put me on the spot, that's my thought right now. It sounds like this is going to bleed a bit into training camp. He obviously will get eased into things in training camp, and at that point, you got to think Daniel Jones will have had every opportunity to lock this down. So, just awful. You feel terrible that the injury luck continues to happen, because this isn't like he got hit. I mean, he's wearing a red jersey. It's a workload. It's a stress thing. It's not all of a sudden he got hit by Harold Landry like he did back in October 2023 and got hurt there. So I'll be curious if and when they sign another quarterback at some point, maybe at the start of training camp, or if Riley Leonard or Jason Bean will continue to take those number 2 reps here. But yeah, just awful news for Anthony Richardson.
And real quick, no timeline on when he'll be back.
Yes,
they hope that he's back and all that,
timeline.
No timeline.
It just doesn't sound good on any level.
All right, very quickly, Cubs beat the Nationals 7-1 yesterday. The Reds were off. The Cardinals split a doubleheader with the Kansas City Royals. The Indians outlasted Memphis 10-9. They will play again tonight in Memphis at 8:05. Everything else is on the way as the Pacers lead 1-0 in the best-of-7 NBA Finals. It's all coming up next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
For that,
Kevin, little worry. We may have to get you. Jake and I'll hook you up with some heart-healthy doctors and just check on you, man. How about that?
Mottman, was that Jake's doctor? Yeah, I'm going to have to get his number here if I have to witness that anymore.
Oh, my goodness. The Indiana Pacers pushing it to the very edge yet again and coming up on top yet again on the road. We got a lot of stats coming from Scotty J today. We got the pop quiz, which is going to be fantastic at the end of the show. But one of the things he and I were just talking about in the hallway over there is the fact that the Pacers now first ever NBA team, and I'm trying not to steal too much thunder here, Scotty, but I'm giving you credit now. First team in NBA postseason history. If you add up the first 2 games of each of their series, they're 7-0. Insane. It's insane what they're doing right now, Kevin.
Well, and I just think these wins mean more than one. I kind of threw it into the show yesterday, but I'll say it again. I thought if the Pacers got game 1, the Pacers would win the series in 6. And so I sit here at 738, and I feel the same way, especially the magnitude they got it. Like, to me, to have a 24-25 turnover night and get a win on the road. And I can fully acknowledge the Thunder had one of their worst shooting nights of the year. But to have that many turnovers and still come away with a road win, it is another display of soul crushing. And the one ingredient I think the Pacers certainly had last night that was, to me, vital in them pulling off this series upset was putting Oklahoma City into the clutch. That, like, I don't care how it evolves, but through 43 minutes, when it got to 5 minutes to go in the game, boom, here you are. I think Oklahoma City's lead at that point was still about 4 or 5. But now you put real game pressure on them. And I think you saw 2 teams go into 2 different sorts of directions there down the stretch. And it wasn't the A.J. Green, Gary Trent Jr. dropping the ball out of bounds final minute. I just thought the Pacers out-executed it on both ends of the floor. And that, to me, I think, creates even more pressure on Oklahoma City if and when these opportunities arise. And if the Pacers continue to put Oklahoma City into these clutch situations, guys, we're going to have a parade. And that Speedo is going to go from the shopping cart to my front steps.
Did you order it yet?
I said it's got to be 2 wins, right?
Fair enough, but
I don't want the jinxers coming at me.
You also just told me these wins count as more than 1
they
win.
Do.
So
I know.
Maybe you should get a jump on that.
The only thing I can go for, and I'm just trying. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to give the Thunder the benefit of the doubt. James, I think you said kind of early on you still fully expect the Thunder to make this series.
Yeah, for sure.
I forget what your exact phrasing was. I'll let you.
A longer series, basically.
Add on to
at least
it.
6 games.
The only thing I can go to is, are the Thunder just young enough and they don't know any better? And if you look at the Denver game 1, they lost not in this fashion, but kind of like this.
No,
they
it was
came
very
back and
dumb.
They came back and beat Denver by 43 in game 2. Now they lost game 3. They were down 1-0 and 2-1 in that series, and yet still found a way. But I think the Pacers win this series.
Here's what's amazing, and I was thinking this as the game was happening in real time last night. They closed the third quarter very strong, or seemed to be, right? They pulled within 6. It's 82-76.
Until Shea hit that shot.
Right, and there's 17 seconds to go. And then SGA hits a three-pointer right at the end of the third quarter. Okay, now they're up 9. But then they come out in the fourth quarter, and Caruso gets a couple of free throws, followed by a Jalen Williams basket. Next thing you know, that 6-point deficit is now 12 points again. And at the time, I'm thinking, in most cases, I'd be like, this is going to be a tough night. And I kept thinking, even when Oklahoma City stretched it to 15 a few minutes later, I'm thinking to myself, all right, they still got a shot. Just because of what they've done over the last 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, it felt like OKC, to your point, Jeff, could never deliver the knockout blow to go up 25, to blow the game open. Every time they creeped towards that 20-point mark, the Pacers would be like, no, where you going? Get back over here.
Yeah, Toppin hits a 3 to put it at 11 or something like that.
Exactly. And one thing I do want to give some credit to, I know we've talked a lot about the offensive process and the late game shot making. Defensively, I know SGA had 38. He was the MVP, and in my opinion, the best player on the floor for 47 minutes and however many seconds before Halliburton hit that shot.
47 minutes, 52 seconds.
There you go. But we talked about this. He only took 8 free throws. So they were pretty disciplined in making him have to take and make tough shots. And to his credit, he's good enough to will his team to the brink of victory and probably will his team to victory at some point in the series because of that. But I thought they were extremely disciplined with their hands, not allowing him to use their physicality against them. And again, guys like Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, really, and also kind of made him have to guard too. Because you go back to that play from Andrew Nembhard, he's like, hey, man, you're not going to just be going down here shooting the ball. You got to defend. And that step back shot, tough bucket. This is why I know God couldn't give me that kind of talent, because I would talk so crazy. You mean to tell me I grew up with this dude? This is my friend. This is the MVP. I just dotted his eye on national television. I got to get back on defense? No, I'm about to talk crazy to you.
Well, they had a moment there late in the game where they were bumping at each
They
other
did.
and jawing
And
at
honestly,
each other.
I like that the refs let them just play. There was none of that weak double technical stuff.
They didn't even bring them together.
No,
right?
it was.
I don't think. Yeah.
This is for all the marbles. Let's do it. And again, I just thought that going back to defensive principles, they played outstanding defensively to, one, be disciplined with SGA, and then two, the other guys, forcing those guys to take tough shots as well, because Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, even Isaiah Hartenstein at times, like they were taking some shots where I'm like, why would you do this, number one? But two, the Pacers are forcing you to have to do it.
Yeah, I thought Dort was really the only one that hit anything consistently, and he's super streaky.
And you blew the Dort game.
For the Thunder, right.
I don't think he'll make 5 threes in another game.
And maybe Jalen Williams probably is going. That was one of the worst games Jalen Williams' season. But I thought for the most part, Shea split a couple double teams. I thought a little bit too easily, but I thought for the most part, you made Shea hit some tough shots.
Yes.
I don't know how much 8 free throw attempts will resonate, James, to our audience. That is a pretty low number for him, especially in the playoffs. If you look at the games that are not blowouts, he's routinely getting to the line double-digit times.
Yes.
So I thought that was important as well, especially they're late. Both teams got in the bonus relatively early in the fourth quarter, not sending the Thunder, consistently to the foul line. I don't know, the whole Siakam sequence towards their bench, that might have turned out to be the best situation for the Pacers. I don't trust Siakam making a foul shot to save my life right now. And so the fact that he didn't have to go to the foul line, I thought almost worked out in the Pacers.
They needed one, though, so I was like, needed one to tie. And I was like, okay.
But then he just missed 2 until the lane violation.
I get that.
A little bit earlier.
Championship DNA going to kick in.
I honestly thought that was probably the right call. Like, I think in the middle of the second quarter, I don't think you're calling a loose ball foul there in that situation. But again, what a huge stop. And you guys probably got tired of me beating this. Get him in the clutch, force them to prove themselves.
Nah.
I think you saw, even on the final possession, a lack of urgency from the Thunder. Who officially grabbed the rebound for the Pacers? Was it Nesmith?
It was Nesmith.
And then didn't he give it to Toppin?
Yes.
The Pacers passed it like 4 times.
Yeah, and then
before
Toppin
they got it to
Halliburton.
And at that point, Lou Dort makes no attempt to go guard Halliburton. Like, in that situation, it's not like Halliburton grabbed the rebound and immediately initiated.
Right.
That was a slow developing Halliburton getting to the 18-foot jumper. But the Thunder just, again, I think when teams are in those situations more, you see urgency. You see all of a sudden their defenders say, hey, guys, if they don't take a timeout here, I need to make sure that I am on the best player on their team, the most clutch player on that team. Instead, Dort just kind of casually walks over to Nembhard. Now it's Case and Wallace, who's not Dort. He's not the first team All-NBA sort of defender. And as if Rick Carlisle needed any more reason to not take a timeout, even if Dort was on him, knowing Carlisle, I don't think he would have taken a timeout. We can probably go back and play that audio. We asked him, over a month ago about him not taking timeouts late in these games. He just doesn't do it. And
I like that. I love that. I've always loved that.
Yeah, and last night, again, was another perfect example of it, is because you are able to, first off, when Wallace is on Halliburton, that's the matchup you probably want over Dort. If you take a timeout, Dagnall probably says to Dort in the huddle, you go guard him. And Halliburton's able to get to his spot, and I don't know if Caruso thought if he would have helped there, boom, Siakam would have been on the baseline. He would have time to shoot a little runner here, but both ends of the floor. You put Oklahoma City in the clutch, and I think they panicked. I think they looked towards their bench so often, they couldn't find any sort of answer offensively, and boom, Nesmith 3, Nembhard 3, and the rest is history down the
I
stretch.
love it. All right, let's get everybody else involved right now because I know people are screaming at the top of their lungs last night. They are like us. They didn't fall asleep till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, if at all. A lot of people. I'm guessing there's a lot of Pacers flu around Indianapolis at workplaces today. A lot of flu. How you feeling, Kev? You okay? You showed up today. I appreciate that. So that was
I
good.
thought about it, but I figured with my job, I probably should show up.
239-1070 is the number to call as the Indiana Pacers have done it again. They win at the gun after trailing by 15 points in the fourth quarter. This is becoming normalized. It's insane. I keep saying the word insane.
I've never seen anything like it.
But I can't come up with a better word, James.
It's them. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, we are watching, and this is not hyperbolic, in my opinion. Easy for me to say, I guess. We are watching arguably the wildest playoff run a team has had in professional sports.
It's phenomenal.
I believe it was Tyler Smith who covers the Pacers. He added up the percentages.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He did the math on it. James, do you have that number? Was it the 4 comebacks? The odds of that happening, was it 1 in 1.5 million? Or was it bigger than that?
Yes, 1 in 1.5 million to have those 4 comebacks happen in one postseason.
Like, we are watching the wildest championship run. Professional sport. Like, I don't care what sport we're talking about. We're witnessing it with the team in our own backyard. And for 25 years, it's been the brawl. It's been Paul George's leg. It's been Victor Oladipo's knee. It's been, oh my gosh, LeBron is always the one in our way. That's what it's been. And now here you are. Even last year, think about how many times your heart was ripped out in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Jaylen Brown's 4-point play. Like that. I mean,
yeah, we were joking. It's the closest sweep ever.
Right. And now it's the Pacers doing it time in and time out. And I'll go back to James and I's conversation an hour ago when James said, I can't believe Halliburton hit it. And I was just like, dude, I can believe it. Like, as soon as he got it, I thought to myself, what's it going to be this time? Is it going to be the layup like Giannis? Is it going to be the step back like it's Jerome or Robinson? No, it's going to be something different. It's going to be the 18-footer.
But you know why I push back on that? Not in a negative way. He is doing something we have never seen in the sport for one single playoff run.
I get why you say it. Trust me. I get why you say it.
Because I'm like,
sooner or later, one of them's got to run out.
That's how I feel, but they haven't. The guy's shooting like 90% in the clutch this season. Michael Jordan didn't do that. Reggie Miller, who we all love as the franchise legend, the greatest Pacer ever, he's known for the clutch gene. He ain't do that. So that's why I'm thinking to myself, what are we witnessing? And one of the beautiful things about Halliburton, or maybe beautifully frustrating things about him, is that it doesn't feel the same as other stars, meaning he doesn't have it going all game. It doesn't look
he wasn't
pretty.
having a Shea type of game last
No,
night.
but gosh darn it, if he has the ball and it's late, I have come to expect him to just make the shot.
See, I think that's special.
It is.
Like,
and you can't teach it.
To do that when you're not hot as a pistol, to do it away from home. I mean, this is now 3 straight times he's done on the road.
I think that's stuff that you can't measure.
No.
It's either in you or it isn't.
Right.
Here you go. Scotty just passed this along, just texted me. Since 1971, teams are now 1-182 when trailing by 9 or more points in the final 3 minutes of an NBA Finals game. Since 1971, teams are now 1-182, which means that it hadn't happened.
So the one was yesterday.
That's
Wow.
how I read that.
I mean,
Also-
that's the 1 in the 1.5 million
Yes.
that we just read off.
All right, let's let everybody else have their say right now because people are feeling it this morning, and I want to hear about it. 239-1070, the number to call here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. JJ, I'm going to let you lead off and make it count, my man.
What the helly? What the helly, Burton?
What the hell? What the hell, Burton?
Kylan, we might need that on a re-entry today.
Hey, guys. I think true fans, we always watch the away games over at this nice place called Eddie's on Geist. And, you know the real fans because we stick it out. So everyone's leaving, and a bunch of us that know each other, we're hanging out and watching till the end. Of course, he hits the shot. My question is this. the defense that Nimhart and Neesmith played on SGA. Nimhart and SGA, they have a past because of, they play on the Canadian team. Does that play into it because they know the style of game that he plays? Appreciate you guys.
It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I there's part of me that thinks it's a great point, JJ, but James, I also don't want to undersell Nemhard. He's just different, dude. That is a quiet, cocky, you-know-what. And I've got 3 letters here that I won't say in order, but you know what I'm about to say. I mean, he is just – I brought up the Mark Few text last series to, his former player saying, make sure you don't tiptoe into a bar fight. Nemhard might be sitting in that bar in the corner and no one notices him, but I'll tell you what, as soon as all of a sudden that first bottle gets picked up, you better believe he's in the middle of it. I mean, he has no fear, and it's quiet, but as soon as it starts to get scrappy, you better believe that headband and those dreadlocks are in there.
No, I like JJ's point, though, because when you're talking about the stars and the great players, you're looking for margins, just margins here and there. And there was a play early in the first half where SGA drove to the basket. He made the shot, but he veered to the left really hard.
Yeah, Nemhard tried to pull the
and
chair out.
And he just got out of his way. That is knowing your opponent perhaps a little bit better than somebody else would because, like I said, they played against each other since they were 9 years old. And to JJ's point, they've been on the same national team as well. So, hey, you find any little crease or crevice that you can, sneak through to gain an advantage. So I think it's a good point.
All right, let's try Nick next at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Good morning, Nick. What'd you think?
Morning, gentlemen. Spent 5 hours in Noblesville at a 10U baseball tournament last night. 2 hours delayed, got our games off. Didn't get home until the fourth quarter. Put it on, down 15. My son gives up, goes to bed. I went upstairs. I put on Boyle. And, Kevin, you said you were nervous. I expected it. I was not nervous. Kept, ticking down. They gave him the ball, and I just knew it was going to happen. I mean, this is Team of Destiny. This team's going to go all the way, 6 games, 7 games. This is Pacers basketball. This is what we expect now, right?
Well, Nick, I don't want to misspeak. I was not nervous. I thought as soon as the Neesmith 3 went in, the Pacers were going to do it. As soon as Halliburton touched the ball, they were going to do it. They have brainwashed me. The Pacers have handed me the Kool-Aid. They've said, here you go, drink it, because this is how it's going to happen. And by the way, I think your son should run foul pole to foul pole for not believing in the Pacers coming up.
Kevin's harsh today.
10U game here. Chase emails me. Once is a fluke, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a trend, 4 times is a standard. Did he steal that from somebody?
It sounds like it's from a self-help book or a coach book, but whatever way. Chase, it sounds good.
I like it. All right, everybody else, hang on the line. We'll get to you. We got lots more to talk about with another unbelievable, how do you even describe the situation that the Indiana Pacers find themselves in, pull themselves out of, dust themselves off, and get ready for more. It's next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Yeah. 111, 110. And that doesn't even begin to describe how it went down in Oklahoma City last night. Does it?
I mean,
Does it? I mean, really?
Shout out to Rob49 and Kylan on the intro for the song "What the Helly."
Yep.
Because that is basically what we're saying. What the hell? What just happened?
That's a thing now in sports in America. What the hell?
Yes, because what the helly is Halliburton.
Man.
And it happened again. And he took your soul out of your city. He obviously has galvanized this city. And I think some of the calls you've gotten already, which I'm sure we'll get more of, you hear that hope. And that is something that for Indiana sports, it can be weird to kind of accept that feeling, to feel validated in that feeling, because there's been so much heartbreak. But this magic carpet ride continues to go.
I did a little video right after the game last night where I kind of did a version of my evil laugh because it just felt like you were picking people's pockets
Wait,
last
your
night.
evil
right?
I'm like,
laugh?
hold on.
You gotta
are you
share
Mojo
it.
Jojo or something?
It's on. Go find it on X, Twitter there.
You're not going to do it for us right now?
Because that's how I felt. That's how it felt last night, didn't it?
Respect.
We just went into Oklahoma City.
There goes any chance my kids knock on the Rickard door for Halloween coming up this year.
Went right through the back door, screen door.
Oh my gosh.
Went downstairs, stole whatever we needed to take, and left. That's what it felt like last night, didn't it?
Oh my gosh. That is so funny.
But man, that was so much fun. And again, you said it earlier, Kevin, and I can't echo this enough. I feel bad for people who don't love watching sports. Now, you don't get this every night, but you get it often enough that you just put it straight into my veins, right? It's amazing.
I started the show off praying for two sets of people. I think the first time I've ever prayed on the show, so apologies
Might
if
have
that
to pray for me now.
if that offended anybody. But yes, I prayed for people that don't watch sports, and I prayed for people that went to bed early.
Well, I'll say this. Are you like me in a sense where, oh, sports are amazing, the sun is shining, everything's great when you have the dramatic win? Well, when the dramatic loss happens, oh, I hate sports.
No,
why do
no.
I like this? Why am I here?
That's what makes it so great, though.
Sports are the greatest reality show out there.
That is true.
And
That's
trust
true.
me, right now with the Pacers, you are living in the ecstasy of it, the glorious nature of it. James, you and I were out at another place yesterday where you're living in the reverse of it. Like, I mean, and that's sports.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it is unscripted. That's why we have these jobs. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, how many sectors of the of life are out there that we get to talk about it for 3 hours on a daily basis?
Absolutely.
And guys, has there been one show in 2025 where you've driven in here and be like, man, I wonder what we're going to talk about today?
No.
Not
No.
one.
No.
And
We're getting spoiled.
and this thing isn't stopping. It's June 6th. I mean,
No,
it's not-
seriously.
I mean, and we live in a market where this is supposed to be dead time.
Yes.
This is supposed to be the quiet, and we're getting none of that. And again, we are witnessing one of the greatest playoff runs ever in professional sports, ever.
The number 4 pick in the draft from 2 years ago has a shoulder injury. The quarterback of the Colts, Anthony Richardson,
Again.
and it doesn't lead the show.
Barely gets mentioned.
Exactly. Now, that is a big issue, and we'll get to that at some point during the offseason. But, yes, to your point, Kevin, this isn't supposed to be happening with the Pacers, but maybe it is. They've earned it.
Guys, I apologize because I know I've said it now on 4 different shows throughout all these comebacks, and I know I've already said it today, but I'll probably say it once every hour. The Pacers have turned their fan base into believers. We are not accustomed to this in sports. When we need the timely hit, no, there's no chance. Nope, strikeout, they're going to ground out to the pitcher. When you need the timely strikeout, no, there's no way. No. They're going to hit it the other way, and 2 runs are going to score. When you need the big third down stop, no, that doesn't happen to my team. No, we're not going to get it. Time and time again, they get the key strikeout. They get the 2-out hit. They get the third down stop. They find Kelsey to move the chains. That's what the Pacers do. And it is Jack Buck. I don't believe what I just saw. It's Vern Lundquist in your life. It's 1980 Al Michaels. Do you believe in miracles? It is that time and time again.
It's Slick Leonard saying boom, baby, from somewhere because
Screaming it.
Whew.
And I felt like I could hear it last night. And, of course, it's Halliburton. It is
Always Halliburton.
Robert Horry, Mariano Rivera, Adam Vinatieri, and Tiger Woods all had a kid, and he's named Tyrese Halliburton. It is on a night where he wasn't All-NBA first team, and yet the ball's in his hands, and as soon as he got it, I thought to myself, this is once again going to end. And the variety of it. It's the drive on Giannis. It's the step back on Jerome. It's the step back on Mitchell Robinson when he kind of lost the ball in the lane. And then last night, it's like this 18-foot jumper, which, I mean, I guess Halliburton, it's a high percentage shot for him, but it's not necessarily what we're used to. It's 3 straight times on the road. It is... This sounds sappy, and I don't know, maybe because I'm wearing the shirt, but we've already had one iconic movie about a team from the state of Indiana before, and I feel like we're watching another movie from the team from Indiana again. And I say that in all seriousness.
You just reminded me, though, the Netflix series. They're following him around.
Yeah.
We're going to get all of this.
We're going to live it again.
Yeah, at some point. And I know we got some calls on the line, and we'll get to all those, and I'll let Jeff handle that. But just real quick, you said he wasn't first team All-NBA throughout that game, and I think he made third team All-NBA this past season. First team All-Onions, okay? Because I am just shocked by this guy.
I saw a social media Sam Cassell reference to Tyrese Halliburton.
And for those who know, Google Sam Cassell.
Well, it's like... Remind me again, which one was the Cassell celebration? Because there's so many of these now.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I have created a little notes thing where I have to separate the comebacks now.
I think
to try and remember all of it.
Was this the Cleveland?
This was Cleveland.
Yeah.
So that was over Jerome when he did it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the phone lines, 239-1070. I know you're all walking on cloud nine like the rest of us. I want to get you your chance to sound off. Thomas, you are waiting patiently over the last 15 minutes. We appreciate that, but you have the mic.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking my call. I listen to you as much as I can, except after the losses. I'm crying.
I get it.
I'm crying.
I get
and
it.
I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do sports this morning or not after we lose, man. But I got just 2 points, and then I'll get off the phone. The first thing is Caruso last night when Halliburton was shooting, instead of staying on him, I noticed that he ran to the basket to think that he was going to get a rebound with like no time on the clock, right? And Kevin had made a point earlier in the show about how discombobulated their defense looked on that last drive when they got the rebound and he took, Halliburton took the shot, and they just didn't look cohesive, and he ran to the basket instead of staying on Halliburton. And I think he would have hit it anyway. I think it's one of those, like you guys have been saying, magical runs that's so enjoyable. But the other point I want to make is this is kind of a big picture thing and kind of sappy, but I spent in 2010, or when the Pacers played the Lakers in the finals, I was in prison watching them at Miami County Correctional Facility, and they ripped our hearts out and I never really expected them to. I wasn't really expecting them to win then, but I spent 22 years in prison, the entire time that Reggie Miller played for the Pacers. When he got drafted, I got locked up when I was 18, and I'm 56 now. I've been out for almost 15 years, man. And just being able to be back and part of the community and spending time here and watching, what's happening this year is really, really, really special. And I love listening to you guys in the morning, and I appreciate you taking my phone call. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing all of that.
Thank you, Thomas.
That's the thing about sports that I love. We talk about it all the time, and I sound like a broken record when I talk about it. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your background is, what your socioeconomic status is, what your race is. There is a special thing about sports where everybody from all parts of society comes together as one. And this team is doing it with this city right now. And I love that about sports. Love it about sports.
Shout out to Thomas, man. Thanks for sharing your story. And obviously, if you missed the prime Reggie Miller years, you're getting him reincarnated right now with Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah,
And
happy
then
to hear
some.
from you.
I'm picturing like the GIF I saw going around yesterday of the gang meme of the IU and Purdue fans uniting together with the Pacers towel there. So yeah, Thomas with a little twist there that seemingly the only thing that would top it would be the Pacers doing this comeback again.
Well, I appreciate everyone. Yeah.
For a fifth time. Thomas, thank you for the call. Thank you for listening.
Paul, your turn here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. How are you feeling this morning, my man?
Boom, baby!
Yeah.
Yes, sir!
I dig it. I dig it. Slick lives on.
He does. He does.
Anyways, great game last night. Was nervous at the beginning of the game because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never seen us throw the ball away this many times. This team is playing incredible defense. But as Rick said, and Tyrese both said, it's just the turnovers. We got to get these turnovers under control, and we'll be all right. They had 3 turnovers in the third quarter, played good basketball. In the fourth quarter, with just over 9 minutes left, when Andrew Nembhard drew that 3-point play, I knew then that it was our time to shine. And real fast, the guy who talked about Caruso running away from Halliburton, he had to do that, because had he not done that, Pascal Siakam was wide open under the bucket. So that's why Caruso ran. But anyways, I'm not going to take any thunder away from this team, no pun intended. I love the fact that we fight and we fight and we fight and we never give up. And one other thing, you find me 2 other point guards in the NBA that's better than Tyrese Halliburton, I don't see it, because not only can he score, he's a team first point guard, and the point guards that they put ahead of him, I know Shea is great, but he doesn't involve his team like Tyrese does. Because if I'm not mistaken, Kevin, you even said earlier, it was either you or James said, I'm watching the game and Shea was great, but everybody else looked like crap. The point guard has to be the facilitator to get everybody involved, and I loved it, and I want the Pacers to bring it home, baby.
I love it too.
Paul, enjoy the mail route. Hope Mother Nature cooperates for you today. What do you guys make of the turnovers in general? Like, do you just chalk it up to, hey, Pacers weren't used to this, but the second half, now they're used to it, and it won't be an issue all series long?
Lot goes away when you end up with the win. But to your point, and they talked about it on the TV broadcast last night, and I thought they were dead on. I think it took 12, 15 minutes, maybe 18 minutes, for the Pacers to realize not only are these guys long, they're quick, they're determined, and they're going to be on you. And if you get the ball and head up the court in the backcourt, you better have eyes in the back of your head, because they're coming from behind you to take that ball away at all times. Miles Turner, I thought, adjusted really well last night. First couple of times he turned the ball over, he kept putting the ball down on the floor when he got it down low on the block. After that, you saw he quit putting the ball down low. He'd take the pass or the offensive rebound, and he'd keep it high above his head. They're starting to learn that this team is coming at you from every angle in every way, and you better deal with that.
I'm loving this. I'm laughing because Jeff is doing every single drill that every coach in Indiana has ever done with their kids.
Coaching Carmel Dads.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
like keep the ball high and, don't bring the ball down and communicate with your teammates. So I'm just laughing because it's like do the mic and drill
But it's
before
basics.
when you're warming up.
But it's basics.
No, it's funny because
It was a weak triple threat from Miles Turner.
No, it matters. It definitely matters. And so I do think it'll continue to be a factor in this series. I don't expect the Pacers to obviously turn it over that much, but that's what OKC does.
Yeah,
they do it well.
They're for real.
And so I don't expect them to suddenly be like, oh, we're only going to turn it over 10 times, 12 times. It's going to be a factor. It just can't snowball like it did in that first half.
Yeah, it's quite impressive to watch how much they challenge every pass, every catch. I mean, I thought Nesmith, they challenged big time. How many turnovers did Turner had? I feel like he had 1 million last night. So, yeah, I as much as I want to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, they got used to it by the second half, and they'll be a single-digit turnover team, throughout this postseason. The Pacers against the Knicks, they kind of had a higher turnover number than we are used to. So I just think it will continue to be something to keep an eye on. Because you can easily look at last night and 2 things happen. The Pacers will sit here and say, no chance we turn the ball over like that ever again. That's an anomaly, blah, blah, blah. The Thunder are going to sit here and wake up this morning and say, we had our second worst shooting night of the year. Now, which one is more of the anomaly? I think that will be a question for Game 2. By the way, do you guys see the line for Game 2?
I've not even looked at that yet this morning. What'd you see?
Thunder favored by
12.
James?
11
8.5.
and a half, I'll call it.
11 for the Thunder.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's because after every loss, they come back with like a 25 or 30 point beat down, and they'll be playing at home again. That's just how the numbers work for them. We're going to turn this over to you all morning long because it's your team, and we want to celebrate with you and let you have your voice. Jim is up next now at 239-1070 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Jim, make it happen.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being here. What's up?
All right. So, everyone's talking about the incredible comeback, but, the one thing I took from the game was as poorly as the Pacers played throughout most of it and how elite Oklahoma's defense was, particularly in the first half. I thought the real key to winning this game was the Pacers defense, because with all those turnovers they had in the first half, they were still only down by 10, and, they never let the game get out of reach. And then, they just kept buying their time until the offense found their rhythm and found the weaknesses, and there you go. Alley Magic.
Jim, thank you for the call. Let's go back to Obi Toppin. I mean, it just Mark Dagnall said something that I thought was interesting, and I'll probably try and ask Carlisle it on Tuesday. Dagnall said something at Media Day earlier this week that he said what he thinks is maybe the most impressive aspect to what Carlisle's Pacers are is that he can't believe how individually confident all of these players are. And he pointed to the coaching staff for creating that. And I thought Toppin's night kind of embodied that. I mean, he was very rough in this first stretch to the point where Rick took him out. And he goes back in the game, and you would have thought Toppin was Steph Curry then with how he handled the rest of the game. The green light, the confidence, the no fear. And you could say that about Nembhard. You could say that about Neesmith. I mean, certainly Matherin is uber confident, borderline cocky. Like T.J. McConnell plays with immense amount of swagger as well. I'm trying to think of like what Pacer goes in the game and you're thinking like they're timid or they're a little nervy or they're like, I don't think any of them are. So again, I obviously there's some individual makeup that I think matters a whole lot when you label guys like that. But I also think this coaching staff, I don't know how necessarily they're doing it, but they have instilled a bit of a, hey, don't look over at the bench. Just play your game. Sure, if we feel like you're going through a rough stretch, we might take you out, but we're going to put you back in the game, and we're going to need you to deliver in a big, big way. And I thought Obi Toppin embodied that last night.
Hang on the line, everybody. We're going to let you have your say throughout the morning here at 239-1070, but in the meantime, we've got to get some business done with our friends at Jiffy Lube. Yep, the Indiana Pacers up 1-0 in the NBA Finals, 111-110. The final score yesterday. Where do you start, James? How do I explain this in 20 seconds or less?
Well, you start with the final score. It was 111-110. It left us on a cliffhanger there. Game winner from Tyrese Halliburton, and that's where your start and end it, Jeff.
Tyrese Halliburton, game winner with 0.3 seconds remaining, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Pascal Siakam, 19 points, 10 rebounds. Obi Toppin had 17 points. We had double-doubles from our man Neesmith as well last night. Everybody got it together in the second half after how many first-half turnovers, Kevin Bowen?
Seemed like a million. What was the final number? Was it
18?
18?
18, I think officially was what it was. 18 or 19, yeah. But they end up with only, I think it was 19, yeah, because they had 25 total and only 6 in the second half. So they really finally got it together. They trailed by 15 points early in the fourth quarter. They trailed by 9 with 2:47 to go, and yet they just keep coming and coming and coming. We'll talk about it all morning long. They lead 1-0, overcoming a 38-point performance by league MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
20 turnovers in the first half officially.
How many?
20.
20.
Yep.
James,
Wow.
player of the game for you?
Andrew Nembhard.
That's where I was going to go.
Yeah, I would say so.
Moment of the game, Halliburton, player of the game,
Yeah.
Andrew Nembhard.
Yep. No, I think that's well said.
Seems to happen a lot in these playoffs.
There you go.
The way they do it. All right, quick baseball last night. The Reds were off. Cubs beat the Nationals 7-1. The Cardinals split a doubleheader with the Royals. The Indians beat Memphis 10-9. And news out of West 56th yesterday, Kevin Bowen. Anthony Richardson is back in injury protocol right now.
Yeah, so I guess just to kind of go over everything, felt pain in his right shoulder during practice last Thursday, an aggravation of the AC joint that he had surgically repaired 20 months ago. James, I was kind of reminded, I forgot that he did miss one day last year, kind of at this very time, with, I guess, something similar. But still, yeah, this is awful news, I think it's fair to say. And right now, if you ask me who the week 1 starter would be, I would say Daniel Jones. There's no timetable on the return for Richardson. Shane Steichen said at some point in training camp, the belief is he will return and they will ease him into throwing. So July 22nd is the start of training camp. The first preseason game is August 7th. You know, if you want to be eternally optimistic, yeah, I guess maybe he returns kind of early-ish August. But at that point, I mean, it's a month to go. And Daniel Jones can earn a whole lot of trust in these practices. Daniel Jones will get the starting reps in now 7 of the 9 off-season 11-on-11 practices. That is a lot. And, yeah, just awful, awful news and awful luck for Anthony Richardson.
All right, coming up in a moment, more of your phone calls, more analysis, reaction, and good old-fashioned fun here in Indianapolis as the Pacers lead 1-0 in the NBA Finals. It's all next at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. That's the story from last night. This is the Fan Morning Show at 93.5, 107.5. The Fan, complete with Reggie and Slick and everybody else, and Mark Boyle's call and Mike Breen and you name it. And the Indiana Pacers just keep doing it. They win 111-110, lead the series one game to none. If you're just joining us, thanks so much for being here on the Fan Morning Show. He's Kevin Bowen. He is James Boyd. She is Kylan Talley. I'm Jeff Rickard, and we are happy to have you. We'll be taking your phone calls throughout the morning. Has it started to sink in a little bit more? We've done just a lot of reaction, and this is what it's been. And we all went to bed last night and wake up, and we go with the feeling all over again, Kevin. But now that we're, an hour and a half into the show and we've been talking about it, you starting to feel any other way, or is it starting to sink in, or are you just basking in it, as we said the other day?
No, I feel like I haven't gone to sleep, and I think I stopped looking at the clock at 2:32 was the last time I believe I looked at it last night. Kylan, I love that reentry, the kind of splicing together Mike Breen's call and then Mark Boyle, of course. I thought that was really, really cool. You know what I thought about when the shot went in and they panned to the crowd a little bit? You imagine being one of those Pacers employees that went to game one?
Oh, lifetime memory.
So they charter the flight. The flight leaves here at 4 o'clock. You're in that arena. You're probably thinking, boy, this is why you work in professional sports. You work a lot of endless nights. You don't get paid a whole lot of money for a lot of those people that are working. And yet here you are experiencing it. And for 47 minutes, you're probably thinking, oh, man, when do beer sales stop here inside of old Paycom Arena? And yet you get to witness that and that plane ride home, because they came right back. And I don't know if they're expected to work today, but I cannot imagine how cool that must be for those Pacers employees that got to go last night.
You mentioned Paycom Stadium and employees and whatnot. One of my friends has their timesheets through Paycom, and they refused to clock in yesterday with the superstition that it could lead to a Thunder win. So didn't clock in, had to go through the whole HR submitting a timesheet, whatever, simply for that. And look at that. The superstitions continue.
I love it.
Is it magic?
Let's go.
That might be the wildest superstition I've ever heard.
That is one of the more psychotic, aggressive superstition things I've ever heard in my life.
It worked.
Man, I cannot.
It worked. So they continue.
I
guess Sunday maybe they're not getting paid. Will
If
there is a game 5, will they continue that?
Was it worth it? I'm this rate.
This is the greatest thing about sports, because it takes otherwise really intelligent, rational people, and we do irrational things.
I was going to say, what do we use, ADP? I'm not going to lie. There's not a superstition in the world that's going to get me to not clock in after I've done my shift. But one thing I want to point out real quick is when it comes to this team and that moment that the employees had to experience, I know a couple people on the Pacers staff, obviously working in the video department, social media department, and so I have them on Instagram. And to see their different reactions on their stories, and I won't name names, but it was crazy to see just the pure joy, and to also know that oftentimes when you work in sports, you're working these moments. So you don't get to be a fan. You have to worry about getting the shot or getting the clip uploaded. And sure, they had folks working that game down on the ground on the floor, but a lot of those employees got a chance to just go and be fans. And so when I'm hearing their Instagram stories, it sounds like a home game because they're all in one section, so they're going nuts. But if you look in the video at the other fans around them, they want to jump them because it's like, what are you doing? This is our moment, and they just stole it from us.
A couple of people reaching out to me on social media because they can't get in this morning. Nagel says, voice gone from the watch party, can't call. But on Saturday, was at a local chicken spot in Fountain Square, thought this guy was dressed as the Pope. He was actually a priest, and he put his hand on my shoulder and blessed the Pacers. So there you go. And then Greg says, Rick Carlisle game, kept hearing him talk about adjustments and chipping away. I thought in order to win the series, there would need to be a game where the Pacers outcoached the Thunder, even down to no timeout and letting it play out. A lot of people looking at Rick for last night, too.
Just get him in the clutch. Get him in the clutch, and you are the better team. I think there's no debating that, and I thought last night was the poster child example of it all. I'm not a superstitious sports fan at all. I'm not one of these that, believes in necessarily that. But, boy, you watch this Pacers team, and they all of a sudden say, Kevin, you sure about that? Like, that's what they've done, and it's amazing. It is amazing. I felt like I heard screams from everywhere last night when that shot went in. Like, I kid you not, and it wasn't just my wife. I literally thought I could hear my neighborhood like erupt when that shot went in. And boy, I just think it's soul crushing.
It's almost
I
gone.
fully expect the Pacers to win this series.
It's almost gone, guys, from do you remember where you were when to, yeah, which one?
Well, let's go over them. So you had, okay, so the Bucks won.
Let me get my Venn diagram.
So
Hold on.
So the Bucks won probably had the most opponent puking. Trent dropping the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
And it ended the series.
The trap on the sideline that forced, I think it was Trent again, actually, that forced the turnover. Do you guys remember Nembhard pulling up from like the volleyball line to start it all?
Yes.
Like he had that 33-footer that if it doesn't go in, that's one of those where Rick Carlisle was just probably saying back off. So that was the first one. The Cleveland one. Do you guys remember the iconic play in the Cleveland one?
That was the get the rebound, run back, and step back for the three, right?
Well, I would argue the iconic play was the Neesmith tip dunk off of the Siakam missed free throw.
Yeah. Again,
Siakam comes screaming in, bangs on, was it Mitchell?
Yeah.
Or Hunter? One of the two?
It was Mitchell.
And, I mean, that was like...
lane violation.
Where in the world did he come from there? Yes, we have the whole lane violation
Last 2 minute
debate
report.
with that. Now, again, the Cavs couldn't throw it in either, but the Neesmith tip dunk, that started everything. And yes, Halliburton eventually hits it over Ty Jerome. The Knicks one, that was Neesmith going nuts in the fourth quarter. He hits the 5 threes, all of it. And, of course, Halliburton hits the bouncing shot. The Knicks did miss a couple free throws down the stretch. Karl-Anthony Towns missed one. And then last night, the Thunder, they were scoreless in the final minute 30. So that contributed to it. But I thought for the most part, the Thunder, they inbounded it fine. They didn't turn it over alarmingly like the Bucks did. But the Neesmith 3 with 2:30 to go, the Nembhard step back, the lane violation that they called to allow Siakam to hit that free throw, and then, of course, you get the stop on SGA and the Halliburton game winner. So I had to rack my brain a bit on the 4 comebacks because they all seemingly run together, yet you look back on each of them, and while the ending was the same every single time, getting there, there are a lot of plays that I think you don't want to forget about. And last night, it would be the Neesmith Challenge 3, the Nembhard step back, and then, of course, you're able to get that stop on SGA there.
And if you're just joining us this morning, we talked about this earlier. What are the chances that all of that takes place in the same playoff run, James?
Yeah, it was something crazy like
1 in 1.5 million.
Yeah, from Tyler Smith, who covers the Pacers. And I also thought about my friends who cover the team who were there in person, Tony East, and others. Scott Agnes, I believe, was in the building as well. Just moments you'll never forget as a writer and having the privilege of covering something like that and kind of seizing the moment from a writing standpoint. So, yeah, I would say personally, selfishly, the only thing I was jealous of was just not being there for the moment and having a chance to not experience it from like a fan standpoint, but just, man, I wish I was in that locker room to detail all the stuff you couldn't see on TV. You know what I mean? So I've enjoyed. I actually woke up this morning earlier than usual, Jeff. I was up probably about like 5:30, 5:45, and read a piece from Marcus Thompson at The Athletic, who's one of our better writers, one of the best writers in the country, detailing the Halliburton shot, all it means. And he's like, when he writes, it's like freaking velvet. I'm like, wow. So, yeah, I'm hoping everybody enjoys these moments because this does not happen. I mean, I've been at this for a while now. I'm not like a super veteran, but I've been writing for 7 years. And, yeah, this is certainly the craziest of the 7.
Yeah, Nigel points this out. That was a little bit more middle of the fourth quarter, but when Turner hits the left wing bank, that's when I sat there and thought to myself, oh my gosh, 3 hours tomorrow morning's about to change. So Turner hits that one.
He threw his hands up because he knew, like...
Turner was having a horrible game at that point. And so, like, even then, it's
real
like...
quick, though, he balled out, yeah. We haven't talked about him enough. He played well overall. We talked about rebounding.
Yeah, he had a ton of turnovers, though.
I know, but 9 rebounds, big shots late. He has to be better. All of them have to be better turnover-wise. But I thought he had some big moments to help them get over the top.
And then Neesmith, when it was 108-99, and that 3 by Neesmith, it wasn't really a clean look. I want to say Miles missed a really open look. Boy,
he did.
Like, was it around that same time frame? I want to say it was like 3 or 4 minutes left. Turner misses an open 3, and that was one where I'm like, oh boy, that might be tough to overcome. And then when Neesmith hit it to cut it to 108-102 with like 2:30 to go, I just said, I'm like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The Thunder score 2 points the rest of the way. Nembhard hits a step back three. Siakam has the offensive rebound put back, and then Ty hits the shot. What I know we had the caller earlier that was griping, or, I guess speaking from the Thunder standpoint, do you think Caruso should have gone to double? Because at some point, these teams are going to say anybody but Halliburton.
We had the follow-up caller, though, that said if you go back and look at that, he had to break back to the basket because otherwise Siakam's all alone.
Yeah, Siakam probably would have shot a little 10-foot floater probably for the win, assuming they would have tried to take the ball away from Halliburton. But do you think we're now there? If this happens again, the Thunder then just rush to at Halliburton and say anybody but him?
I think I'm probably there.
It's crazy the fact that it's taken 4 of them to get there. But
yeah, I'm probably there. Now, you have to talk about strategy. You don't want to double and leave somebody just wide open underneath the basket or wide open for a look. But it's push and pull, give and take at some point. And with all the great players, and I don't know why I'm so hesitant to say it because he is a great player, you get to the point with all of them. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Tyrese Halliburton now, you force them to give the ball up if you can. And you live with the results. If Aaron Nesmith hits a three and you lose because of that, maybe that's an easier pill to swallow than letting that guy do that again to you.
I'm going to show you guys this picture. It is mom hugging daughter in their white Oklahoma City Thunder shirts
for dear life
as the Halliburton shot has just taken float. And it summarizes sports in one picture of like that mom and daughter. It looks like Halliburton has done that to them 1,000 times.
What's crazy is the ball is just leaving his hand, and every single fan in that photo that you can post it in a minute here, Kevin. Every single fan already looks like the ball has gone in.
And James Johnson is just stoic in the bottom left part of the picture, like, oh my gosh, that man is going to do it again.
Mama, there goes that man again. All right. Coming up in a moment, we'll turn it back over to you, Don, Chris, Mark, Isaac. I know you guys have been waiting, and it'll make it worthwhile for you here on The Fan as we continue next. morning.
By the way, shout out Josh Chalfant, right?
Yeah.
Kylan on that, yes, sirs. Want to make sure we acknowledge that. I know that song's been making the rounds. Very, very catchy, very nice. What would Rick Carlisle say today? Oh boy, I don't know. He'd probably be very, very quickly on the game.
I was about to say, you got to catch him last night, 10 seconds after the game winner, and he might crack a smile.
I was gonna say
he was very businesslike after.
He was very, very
post-game.
businesslike in that post game. I think he acknowledges the crazy nature. He definitely does. I mean, I think he described the Knicks game one as fluky. Like there's an element of like, yes, there's a little bit of fluky, but like, man, now I'm channeling the email earlier of like, when it happens once, it's what? When it's happened twice, it's what? When it happens 3 times, it's what? Now it's happened 4 times. Like at some point,
It's what it is.
maybe it's not fluky. Listener Scotty, not our Scotty, listener Scotty placed a $100 bet on the Indiana Pacers to win it all back on November 6th. $100 to win $6,100. He is sitting with a cash out on this Friday morning of $1,315 and the very important 58 cents. Would you cash out? $100 to win $6,100 with a cash out of $1,300.
How far behind on his bills is he?
Dang.
No, if you're caught up and you're doing okay, I think you let it ride.
Scotty, I'm assuming you're financially stable and you're okay. Me, I ain't gonna lie, I probably would cash it.
Cash in hand is always good.
I probably cash it, man.
Hell, if they win game 2, that cash out would go to like $3,000 or $4,000. I mean,
I know, but can you wait? I don't know how that all works.
Yeah, but
I'm not a gambler.
Now you're playing deal or no deal at this point in time, right? You're opening up another case after every game.
Yeah,
That's what you're doing now.
You're doing the key bank thing inside of Cambridge Fieldhouse.
Look at you tying it right back into the field house. I love that, Kevin. Good job out of
The
you.
YouTube chat is yelling at me and told me there's no chance you cash out. Okay, boys, I hear you. Let it ride.
I do think game 1 matters that much. I mean, right now, again, I'd pick Pacers in 6. I think, I just think the magnitude of that. And I don't know, maybe the extra day off in this series, maybe the Thunder are too young to fully realize it. I don't know. It's probably spin cycle for OKC radio right now. I know they did respond to Denver. I guess we should point that out. They did lose game 1 in a, I don't want to act like it was the same exact way, but they lost game 1 to Denver in a bit of a similar fashion. They came back and they beat them by 43.
You know what? I actually think the Denver loss in game 1 might have been a little more brutal on them with the way it happened. That was a collapse. This was kind of like a walk down. That was a collapse because they had that game won. I mean, you can argue that for last night as well, but for those who kind of missed how it all played out in that game 1 against Denver, they were up, playing the foul game and just blew it. That was, I thought, just them being very young and kind of immature. So we saw some of that youth last night, immaturity. Maybe they got out-coached a bit. To Jeff's point, he's been hammering that home throughout the series or to start the series. And so we will see how they adjust. But also, to the Pacers' credit, when Tyrese Halliburton's walking off the floor, they had one of their social media team members kind of capture just his raw thoughts. And he's telling Siakam, we ain't done nothing yet. We can play so much better. And I think Siakam or him said, let's get greedy. And they've been greedy throughout the playoffs. So, man, if I'm like the Thunder, I'm like, dude, we played great defensively, blew the game. They're not going to be the only team, adjusting. We have to as well. But what do we do when they inevitably play at a higher level?
It's a series. It's going to be fun.
That was
Dawn.
a Pacers C game, maybe?
Yeah. Don up next here at 239-1070. Don, thanks for patiently waiting. You have the floor now. Make it work.
Not a problem. I talked to you guys yesterday. I always turn the TV off, radio on, and they informed me I had to get up at 2:30 and go to Fort Wayne this morning. So I'm actually going on no sleep, which that's fine. I'll be all right talking to you guys. KB, you get it. You know how many times we went through the bounce don't go our way. We don't get to 3rd and 10. I love when you say that because me and my brothers have been through that so many times with the Pacers, and now it's our time to shine. And I'll give you guys a quick stat I seen with Roy Hibbert first thing this morning when I got up at 2:30. Halliburton has 5 game-clinching playoff game clinchers. James only had 8, and he's been playing for a few years. And Reggie was right under Halliburton with 4.
Yep.
Don, Godspeed, brother. Guzzle the coffee. Safe travels.
Yeah.
The clutch gene, James Boyd, it is wild.
Yeah, I think the stat that Don was referencing right there, I saw it on ESPN as well, where it's like last 5 seconds, game tying or game winning shot in the postseason. LeBron James has the most of, like, I believe the last however many years. He has 8, and then you have Halliburton with 5, and then Reggie with 4. And 4 of Halliburton's 5 have been this postseason. I believe the other one was whatever game that was against the Bucks last year when he crossed up Patrick Beverly and got the floater in the lane. That was the other one. But to have 4 of those moments in one postseason run is crazy because we know LeBron James has played for like 72 years. This is his second playoff run.
I forget which shot I said this after. It might have been the 4-point play against Milwaukee in the regular season. But we had a show that next morning, and I said to you guys, I am curious, not to make too much of one random Wednesday night in the NBA season, but I'm curious what this does for Halliburton. Like, does now all of a sudden he says, wait a minute, that's what pressure feels like? I want to make love to that pressure again.
Let's go.
I'm like, what the heck just happened?
Because, man, he wants that damn ball.
It's like Ron Burgundy. I want to make love.
I'm about to say, the way
pressure.
Halliburton moving, he's a Rolling Stone then.
And all of a sudden, no matter what the shot is, it can be driving on Giannis. It can be a step back over Ty, slow-ass Jerome. It can be the step back over Mitchell Robinson and all that length. And it can be last night wanting that ball. It just it's a special, special trait. And I think what is really, really astonishing to me about Halliburton is, like, it's not like this is a dude that was necessarily, like, built into these situations. And I know it sounds weird. By that, I mean this. He's a 3-star recruit at Iowa State. He wasn't some Big 12 player of the year. He wasn't hitting big shots in the NCAA tournament. At Sacramento, they didn't win. Where does this come from? You know, it's just it's a special, special attribute. And for a player to be as unselfish as he is and to yet thrive in those settings as the shot taker, he is a rare individual.
It was interesting when we talked to Mark Kestecher, the play-by-play voice of the NBA for ESPN Radio, and he said for whatever reason he had an inordinate amount of Iowa State basketball games when Tyrese Halliburton was playing in college, and he said he's not considering himself a main scout or anything like that. He said, but you could there was something special about him. You could just feel it. There was something different. This dude is just, as my kids would say, this dude is built different, James.
We're talking about a dude that averaged 10 points a game in college. 10 points a game. And I get, like, you can probably,
but he made the whole team go, though.
It's not like Shea averaged a bunch, but, like, to have the clutch element, that to me is just, that's a separator.
All right, I got to take a few minutes to let that soak in. We're going to turn this next hour over to the folks and get out of your way. We'll talk to Chris, Mark, Isaac, everybody else as the list continues to grow. 239-1070, the number to call. It's your team. It's Indiana basketball. It's your voice. Next. admiration and respect for the job that Mark Boyle and Eddie Gill do on a night-in, night-out basis on the radio is infinite. Just amazing to listen to those guys do their thing, and Mark always hits the spot. Welcome into the Fan Morning Show, along with Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Jeff Rickard, Kylan Talley. A great job with the intros and the rejoins today. You're doing fantastic work. But we're going to get to the phone lines in a moment here at 239-1070. But James writes in, sent me an email this morning. Can't get into call this morning, but I overheard the conversation around the Pacers and the movie Hoosiers. I had another Hollywood movie in mind last night. Rocky IV, the last fight where Ivan Drago keeps pummeling Rocky, and he just keeps getting up. And by the end of the fight, Ivan is psychologically out of it. What more do I have to do to end this guy? That's the vibe OKC gave as the fourth quarter went on, as the Pacers just kept getting back up.
You can pull any movie you want, and I would probably believe you at this point because they're writing their own. Somebody gets a Hollywood script writer on the line and just detail this. I'm looking forward to a Netflix series, seriously, because every single time I think about what we're witnessing, I'm like, oh, there's more that we haven't seen behind the scenes. And so, again, you have to give credit where credit is due. I'm looking at our YouTube chat. Someone said they're having smothered chicken for breakfast.
Who had I forget, was it Matherin or was it Nesmith?
It was Matherin.
That big, that was a huge block last night. That was clean.
There's a couple of big blocks. Dort had that big block on Nesmith, too. Both those blocks were big time.
Last thing I'll say, and we'll get to the calls. Are you all like me? Whenever there's like a 1-point victory, I go back and look at everyone who scored, and I'm like, wow, that made a difference. Just in hindsight, butterfly effect, whatever.
The little T.J. McConnell drive to the left side of the hoop.
Thomas Bryant hit a corner three yesterday.
Big time.
And it mattered.
Yeah.
Like, this team, man. This team.
All right, to the phone lines we go. 239-1070. We'll start with Mark. Good morning, Mark. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great.
Tell me about it.
I just want to get okay. We flew down for the College World Series in OKC, and we just flew back Wednesday.
Oh.
We supported our Pacers gear. We got so much trash talked. I just want to get a shout out to the OKC fans. Get a little respect. That's all.
Well done. Well done.
Did he say show a little respect, or they
show a little respect? Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Give a little respect, I believe he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Isaac up next here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Isaac, good morning. How you feeling today?
Oh, man, I'm feeling great. How's everybody feeling after that win last night, man?
You kidding me?
Isaac, you ready to go today?
I'm ready to go, baby, man. Man, that Pacers win, man. I was out till like 2 o'clock last night, man. I tell you what, I got to tell you about the grit of Obi Toppin, man. That guy, he started the game rough and then just come out there swinging after halftime, 5 threes. Like, that man, he's got to take some credit for saving us in that game for sure.
Obi, outstanding.
Put him in position.
I thought absolutely outstanding. It's one of those points in the game where, again, the Halliburton shot and obviously the final few minutes of the game, you forget that, like, the lead stayed within what? Was 15 the highest it got?
Yes.
I mean, that is very manageable in the NBA. And, Obi hits that three in the fourth quarter. I want to say it was 14. That got it back to 11. And then after that, for the most part, I feel like the Pacers kind of kept it right there in single digits the rest of the way. So they were just a stop and a shot away from putting that real game pressure on him. And, for Obi to have the early struggles and then to play as well as he did after that, a big time out of him.
All right, thank you for the phone call. Rex, it's your turn here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. We're doing great, just like you. Tell me about it.
Great night, no doubt about it. I thought two keys of the whole game was 19 turnovers in the first half, and OKC only scored 9 points off of those 19 turnovers. And normally you always think you're going to give up one for every one of those turnovers. So if you're down 22-24 at halftime instead of 12, it's a different game. And in the second part of that, we offset it because we out-rebound them 54-39. So our advantage in rebounding offset our disadvantage in turnovers.
Rex, I think it's an outstanding point, the lack of points off of turnovers. And I get, a few of them were like dead ball turnovers, but that I thought really stood out. Because the Pacers had some super uncharacteristic moments. I'd point to two. Nemhard early in the game fouls Shai Gilgeous-Alexander like 70 feet away from the basket when they were in the bonus. How about McConnell throws an Aaron inbounds pass there underneath your own hoop? It goes for an Oklahoma City layup. The Pacers got a shot clock violation out of a timeout last night. I mean, when do you see the Pacers do those three things? And obviously there's a credit to Oklahoma City here. That's probably why I bring it up. But
their defense was elite early.
Yeah, it certainly was. And now I guess when you start to shift gears to game 2, where's the confidence? Where's the worry? Because again, for the Pacers, you sit there and say, there's no way you're going to turn it over to that extent. The Pacers also shot the hell out of the basketball. Now, seemingly, they shoot the hell out of the basketball every game, though. I mean, last night they were nearly 50% from 3, and yet they've done that throughout this postseason. Oklahoma City had their second worst shooting night of the year. So, while the ending is exactly the blueprint I thought was possible for the Pacers, get them into the clutch, see if they wilt. You got them in the clutch last night. They wilted. The formula to get there is not what I expected at all. The amount of turnovers, Oklahoma City having one of their worst shooting nights of the year. So just continue to get them in the clutch. If you continue to get them into those pressure-packed moments, you're going to win the series, and then we're going to have a parade here.
All right. Thanks very much, Rex. We appreciate that. Eric up next on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Eric, shout it from the mountaintops, my friend.
Hey, everybody. Happy morning to everyone. I just wanted to say, if the Pacers pull this off, I know we have a ways to go, but do you guys think they're on pace to have one of the greatest playoff runs in maybe basketball history or maybe even professional sports history with the lack of national media respect and all the clutch moments they've had and everything taken into account?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about the lack of national media respect. Simply, it's one of the greatest runs, period. Just all of these historic comebacks. And, anytime in the NBA, guys, a 4 seed makes the run to the finals, it's underdog. It's at a
You're supposed to lose, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the NBA is usually a very top-heavy league when you get to the postseason. It's not like the NFL where it's one and done, and you see the Giants.
You got to win 4.
Get on these wild card runs here. So, it's. I mean, right now, up until this point, it is easily one of the greatest playoff runs ever. Not just NBA, across all of professional sports, with the historic comebacks being the main catalyst of it.
Question, do you think rings can be heavier than others? Meaning, the run that Dirk Nowitzki had with Rick Carlisle, that ring feels like it weighs more than, I don't know, Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. Because of the way you did it, the homegrown nature of it. Obviously, if you're a fan, you don't care how it gets done. If you're a player, you probably don't care as well. But it just feels like if you're able to pull this off with all the underdog nature of it,
feels organic.
It'll be one of the more heavy rings.
I think it's like kind of like cherry on top stuff. Like if you
That's
go
a good
back to
point
the
to put,
Colts
yeah.
like Super Bowl, a lot of people would say it was very fitting the Colts had to get through New England.
Right.
To get there. Some Pacers fan might say, well, it's kind of fitting like the Knicks were there.
Right.
In the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think it's cherry on top. I believe I said it to you guys early in the week. If you told me Notre Dame wins a national title in football this year and they don't throw a forward pass all season, I'd say that's the most beautiful thing these eyes have ever seen.
I hear you.
I mean, there's an element of just win the
You know
damn
what?
title.
I want to know this. Maybe Scotty J can look this up and maybe I'll find it later. When's the last time a team won a finals game where they didn't have anybody score 20 points? I just noticed that. And I'm like, that's a very unique setup. And it kind of speaks to their team. I want to say they had 6 players in double figures last night. So,
Had
again,
3 double-doubles last night.
Yeah, just a very team-oriented team, which sounds redundant, but we know what it looks like when you have heliocentric basketball. OKC had some of that last night with SGA. He went off, but it just wasn't enough because you need a team.
Let's go to Phil next to 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Phil, it's your turn.
I am tired.
Are you wired or are you tired, Phil?
I am still coming off the high. I don't know if I'm drunk still or if I'm sober, but I will tell you, we were in the fourth quarter. I'm sure everyone was doing the same thing. Just get it to 10, get it to 8, get it to 6. And this Pacers team, they just hang around. And
But
You said it, KB.
it's getting it to 9 and getting it to 6 with less than 2.5 minutes to go. That's the crazy part.
KB was saying it all week. We got to get this team in pressure situations tight at the end of games. And that's exactly what we did last night. It was unbelievable.
Phil, I forget. Thank you for the call, Phil. Feel free to crack another one or, get some water in you, whatever you think will get you to sunset here. I want to go back and watch the final few minutes because there was a shot. It might have been the Nembhard. It was either the Nembhard step back on Shea or the Siakam putback. I think it was the Siakam putback. The Siakam putback, Shea takes it out of the inbounds, and he immediately looks over at Dagnall, and it's kind of like, dude, do you have an answer right now? Because I don't. I mean, that's the MVP of the league looking at his bench like, oh, no. Are we going to – like, I've watched this happen from my Oklahoma City home. I've watched the Pacers do this to the Knicks, to the Cavs, to the Bucks, and now it's happening to us. And that, to me, was the perfect microcosm of what I've been saying all week of the Thunder have been historically good. They've proven themselves on so many different levels, but on this stage, in the final 5 minutes of a game, it's still different. Can they prove themselves? And the Pacers have thrived. I won't say what I said last segment because Mark Dykton's probably already clipping that out down in Florida, but I meant what I said. Like,
you want to repeat it?
This team makes love to pressure. That's what they do. That's what they
You sure
do.
you don't want that endorsement we talked about yesterday?
And my question is, do other teams, can they do that? Or does pressure, create some, busted pipes? Because that's what I think you saw with Oklahoma City. And guys, look at the final possession. When you get that stop on Shea, it was a slow-moving sort of possession. Lou Dort, if he wanted, go back and watch. If Lou Dort wanted to, he easily could have walked over to Tyrese Halliburton and picked him up at half court. Easily. He just kind of slowly jogs over to Nembhard. Next thing you know, Cason Wallace goes up to Tyrese Halliburton. I'm thinking the All-NBA first-team defender is not going over to Halliburton. Pick Jalen Williams, the All-NBA second-team defender, is not going over to Tyrese Halliburton. They're going to let the 21-year-old wing, who had kind of been in and out of the starting lineup, go guard Halliburton in the biggest moment of the season so far. Like, again, just put them into these situations. Do you crack or not? Last night, they cracked.
Let's take another phone call. Graham has been waiting patiently. Graham, your turn here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. What you got for us?
KB, you had mentioned the random superstitions this entire playoff run. You guys will get a kick out of this.
Give it to me, Graham.
My wife is now 21 weeks pregnant. We're expecting our first child in October. Thank you. Anytime we have watched Pacers games, including the Bucks series, the Cavs series, the Knicks series, anytime she has taken a nap mid-game, the Pacers are undefeated.
All right.
There you go.
8:18 Sunday. Yeah, I don't know if you need to turn the lights off, turn on the sound machine to get ready for the baby, what you need to do, rub some feet, scratch the head. It's going to be nap time. Do we have a name for the kid? Do we know the
Tyrese.
sex, Graham? Anything? Did we lose Graham?
Gone. Yeah. It's got to be Tyrese if it's a boy, right?
Graham, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do we have the sex? Do we have a name yet?
We're keeping the sex. We're keeping the name a little bit secret, but I'd be lying to say if I didn't push any Pacer-related names after a certain point.
Would she be about that? Does she feel like she's contributing? Because in my opinion, she is contributing significantly to this run.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to my wife. She knows ball, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we can work something out there.
James Boyd?
I'm saying if it's a girl, I'm going to say Tyrese Etta.
Or you could go like
Tyrese.
You've seen those folks that have like the multiple middle names. You could go Tyrese, Pascal, Andrew, Aaron.
I mean,
throw
the
anybody
Pacers
else
got
in
enough
there.
unique names. I met someone yesterday that a girl named Andy. Andrew is I've heard that. You go a little Andrew Nembhard on that. Graham, shout out to your wife, and I hope she's got 3 more naps in her over these 6 games, right? At least 3 more.
KB, you're getting some love here from the YouTube chat. We have Caleb Oldham saying, James, tell Kevin, shout out for calling it yesterday. Got to keep the game close. Kept it close, and they survived.
I am interested to see how
Kev Stradamus,
how the Thunder respond based off that Denver series. I think if you are an Oklahoma City fan waking up today, that's the ounce of optimism of like, wait a minute. We were down 1-0 to Jokic and the Thunder, losing at home. They were down 2-1 in that series. And remember, they won game 4 in Denver in a slugfest.
That was the winner of that game was going to win the series.
Like an ugly. So that's where there is, again, I got Pacers in 6 now, but there is a little bit of like, wait a minute, the Thunder have, now, again, the finals are different to me. And James, you brought this up earlier. You thought that game 1 loss to Denver might have been even more crippling than this one. I guess I don't have vivid memories of that.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at it real quick here.
I just think last night is soul crushing.
But yeah, I mean, you don't want to lose in that fashion. I'll tell you that much.
They made a bunch of mental mistakes in that game against Denver. Really hurt themselves.
Like, I mean, last night I just felt like they got walked down.
Yeah.
Right. They didn't. We went over the comebacks earlier in the show, the 4 comebacks the Pacers have executed here in the playoffs. To me, last night was the least amount of opponent puking. Like, the Bucks, Gary Trent Jr. is dropping out of bounds. The Cavs can't inbound the basketball. The Knicks missed a couple free throws. For the most part, the Thunder just largely missed shots in the final 90 seconds.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Right. And, what was the lead with a minute to go? I mean, it was probably 1 possession, was it not? Like, this wasn't the down
6.
7 with 40 seconds to go. Or, this was the down 9 with 2:30 to go. So this is a little bit of a different comeback, but gosh, I can't believe we've got to wait till Sunday now.
Hey, real quickly before we take a quick break, Kenny's up next at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Kenny, make it go.
How we doing, guys? Hey, just going to give you a little bit of couple fun facts. 95% of the time, Halliburton has the ball. A couple seconds left in the game. Just count it, brother. You know what I'm talking about?
95%.
That's
90.
insane.
Okay, we'll go to 97. I'll give them 97.
There you go.
Unstoppable, guys. I'm so excited about it. And James, you changed your mind, man? You think Pacers could win it this year?
No, I feel like whenever I make a prediction, I can't change it after I've done it. I said Thunder in 7. I'll stick with it. And like I've told people all the time, Kenny, you can call me if I'm wrong and yell at me on the radio. It makes for good sound.
Kenny, thank you for the call.
Thanks, Kenny. Kevin, minute 27 to go. It was 110-105 after an SGA little layup there. Or we had that kind of little scoop layup.
Yeah.
The basket.
Yeah, didn't have, again, the magnitude of it. And Neesmith and Nembhard, we saw each of them guard him. Nembhard got the initial start. I did not. I thought Neesmith might get the initial start, but boy, Nembhard. Just, James, you're right. I mean, he's a player of the game for me in game 1. Just right. What he does on both ends of the floor, man. It is, it's pretty special.
All right, we'll have some more phone calls coming up in a minute. Real quickly, let's do this. Going to make it short and sweet, gentlemen. 111-110. The Indiana Pacers get a last-second shot from Tyrese Halliburton, and they win Game 1 in Oklahoma City. Tyrese had 14 points, 10 rebounds. Pascal Siakam led the way with 19 and 10 boards. Obi Toppin, after a really rough start, James, ended up with 17 points. He was 5 of 8 from three-point range.
Just the mental resolve from 1 through however many players they have on the roster is what separates the Pacers from everybody else, man. They are very, very mentally strong.
Shout out to the Lara Overton Obi Toppin shirt yesterday.
There we go.
She was rocking that.
The Dayton
Obi Toppin Flyer
shirt.
Obi Toppin shirts. Very fitting with that. Scotty J delivers this to James Boyd's question from earlier. The last time a team won an NBA Finals game with no player scoring at least 20? The 2013 Finals, Heat 103, Spurs 84. The leading score for the Heat in that game?
2013.
Chris Bosh.
Mike Miller.
Ooh, James Boyd, I love where you're going with that. Super Mario Chalmers.
Wow.
Dang, I was close. I knew it had to be a shooter.
Points. Good job going a little off the beaten path.
There we go. Also last night, Andrew Nembhard had 14 points and 6 assists. And, of course, Aaron Neesmith, 10 points, 12 boards. That offset the 38 from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And Game 2 will be Sunday night, 8 o'clock, 7:30 network pregame here on The Fan. JMV will have a pre to the pre beginning at 7 o'clock. And I'll have more information on that for you coming up in a minute as well.
So we go 8 o'clock tips for the Sunday games, 8:30 tips for the non-Sunday games. That's what we're doing here?
Yep. That's what we got. And some Colts news yesterday. It'll be a minute before we see Anthony Richardson again, James Boyd.
Yes, he reported some discomfort in his AC joint, his shoulder that he had surgically repaired back in 2023. They're going to shut him down for the rest of the spring, and there is no timetable for when he'll return. From what Shane Steichen said, it's an aggravation of the AC joint, and so we'll see how it all plays out. But obviously that gives Daniel Jones the upper hand in this quarterback competition.
Yeah, and also just a reminder, if you want to hang out with JMV Sunday night, that pre, just over here downtown, Tom's Watch Bar is where he will be broadcasting from. So you got that going on, and I imagine a lot of people might stop by there and then head on over to the field house and watch again in Game 2.
I'm excited about it.
I saw a lot of video from that last night. That looked like a good place to be to watch the game last night.
Yeah, I saw Eddie White getting pumped up, Jeremiah Johnson getting pumped up. Chris Teneri will slide over there. Chris Teneri texted me and got home at 4 a.m. from the Pacer charter to OKC. I'm picturing Chris Teneri just ripping shots on the charter on the way home.
I cannot picture that, but it's a funny image.
I cannot picture that at all. Let me be very clear, but I don't know. I'm now hallucinating after 3 hours of sleep.
All right, back to the phones. We'll go in a moment. It's Victory Friday. First time I've said that all day because we've been so busy. Victory Friday here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Oh, Kylan going old school, Cool in the Gang. James, I hope people have the cameras on in their YouTube shop right now.
Like I'm at a family
You're clubbing
reunion
right now, man.
Those are the vibes.
James Boyd cutting a rug over there.
A little bit.
You know, it would be fun when this is all said and done and over with, especially if things continue to go well. We got to have, I don't know if they speak English or not, but if they did, it'd be great to have the Korean broadcasters on at some point in time. Those guys are fun to listen
I think we're going to have a fan morning show dance party. That's where I thought you were going with that.
Well, maybe we can invite them. Maybe we'll have one and invite them, Kevin.
All 4 Halliburton game winners have come with the Pacers down.
Now that is
not tied,
impressive.
Down.
3 of the 4 away from home. And the one that wasn't away from home was on Giannis. I mean, I'm trying to add further context to the historic nature to it and to not sound hyperbolic when I genuinely mean one of my biggest goals in radio is to not be Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless. I want to have substance behind everything I say. I don't want to be hot takey. So I genuinely mean this. This is the wildest championship run I've seen in professional sports. To have all of these comebacks, to have the same player finish off all of these comebacks. You know, I just think psyche-wise, if you're tied in those moments, I think it's different. I think there's a little bit less pressure. And that goes a long way to just the burden on your shoulders. But you're down every single time. One miss, it's over. Over. The Bucks series, that would have gone back to Milwaukee, right, for Game 6? The Cavs, they are all of a sudden feeling like they've weathered the storm with early injuries. Now the Knicks are up 1-0, and you've missed out this opportunity to get Game 1. Now the Thunder are up 1-0, and they feel like they can exhale a little bit. Yet you have every single time taken a deficit, turned it into a lead, turned it into a win, 3 of the 4 times on your home floor. It's Bobby Orry, it's Mariano Rivera, it's Tiger Woods, it's Adam Vinatieri, it's Tyrese Halliburton.
You know, the other thing that I think is important to note, too, that if Tyrese doesn't make that shot, Oklahoma City probably goes not only up 1-0, but we didn't let happen what has happened to everybody else. We survived that. Now we're on.
100% agree. But it did happen to you. You've seen this movie before, and now you're a part of it. So very curious to see how they respond. And I guess the good thing for them is that they're at home. They're not going back on the road to do this, but now you're up against it to, I can't say regain home court advantage because you've lost that already, but just make sure you pull even in the series.
All right, let's get through some calls here. Folks been waiting on for quite some time. We're going to wrap it up this segment with the phone calls. Mark, you're up next here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Go ahead, my man. Good morning, and welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Outstanding. Talk to me.
You know what? With all the turnovers in the first half, I wasn't even worried at all at halftime. We were only down by 9, maybe 11.
12, I think. It was 57-45, yeah.
Okay. I still wasn't worried. I knew that we were going to come back. It's never over till it's over with these Pacers.
Were you worried when it was a 15-point game in the fourth quarter?
Not at all. Especially when I think Neesmith and Bryant hit 3-pointers and got it down to 6. If, with 0.3 seconds left, the fat lady started singing.
So, Mark, let me ask you this: when did you become a believer? When were you converted to we're just gonna win these clutch games?
Well, I work for security for the Pacers. I've watched every single home game for them, and they seem to do it.
Respect. They do. They don't seem to. They do.
I mean, let's go back to March for a second. Just that wild month of March of all of these clutch games that they had. And, remember the Minnesota game when Toppin went off? You remember that? At Minnesota?
Was that the corner 3 from him as well?
Yeah. That was the night they were really banged up.
That was an overtime win.
That one, he just went off. Again, you had the LeBron one go against you. The Sacramento finish, I forget exactly how that was, but that game I remember being kind of a crazy ending as well. I do think there's something about that month when that played out, and I know Rick, I think, has mentioned this, or maybe it was Lloyd Pierce mentioned like the 4-point play against Milwaukee, the NFL play, the football style play, Jenny Busek and Sue Bird and all that. That was probably the one individual play from the entire month there. I will say there was one thing that gave me pause, though, early in the game when the Thunder had this double-digit lead and the Pacers seemingly turned it over every time down the floor. The Thunder were doing that, shooting like 35%, which is awful. Awful. So, like, I did sit there and think, boy, the Thunder, they're playing a little bit of fire, not stretching this lead to 20. It was like, wait a minute, are they going to shoot good at all? Well, the Pacers stopped turning it over, and the Thunder continued to shoot pretty poorly. So that was a huge difference in the second half.
All right, Martin, you're up next. Good morning. We're all doing fine. What's on your mind today?
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, what was on my mind was the game last night, but then I heard KB say making love to the pressure. So I got to see what that's all about.
You've altered days here.
Did you nod your head at that? Was that a good one? Should I cut that out or no?
You should sell that Wednesday
T-shirt.
night before game 3.
T-shirt.
Put your face. Yeah, put your face and make love to the pressure.
Yeah,
brother.
I'll put me in a Speedo on the front of that. And Martin, you can buy the first T-shirt.
I'll buy the first box, brother. Saw this stat last night. In the history of the NBA, there's never been a player for their entire career, so Jordan, Bird, Kobe, LeBron, that's hit a game winner or a game-tying shot at the end of regulation or overtime in rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 for their entire career. Tyrese Halliburton has done it in 1 month.
It's insane. It's insane.
That's pretty freaking
See, that's
wild.
the stuff where I'm like, you can't script that, you can't teach that. It's either in you or it isn't.
That's so good. And I mean, like, Jordan didn't do that?
No. Nobody. Jordan, Kobe, anybody. Not Magic, not Kareem. Nathan, you're up next here. Good morning. We're all doing fine. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I thought I'd call in. I happen to be on the west side, staying at my son's house.
What? Call me right back, Nathan. You got cut off staying at your son's house. We want to hear the rest. While you get him back, let's talk to Mike next here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Mike, you're up.
Let's go, boys!
Yeah!
That's awesome.
We're busy making love to pressure in here.
That's right. Man, we got to give Rick Carlisle some credit. He has said it over and over and over again. Why let the other team set their defense? That last play, there was 3 guys open. Obi was open to the left. Siakam down the baseline, and yet Halliburton hit the big shot. It was just beautiful to watch. Neesmith is a man amongst men. Those boys, those boards are just awesome. I got to say one thing you guys had mentioned, I think it was earlier in the week, that you kind of get a little jealous of the guys in the afternoon being able to go out and go to these bars or pubs and host from a show. And one of you, I can't remember, but I think it was KB, said we need a coffee shop that would host us.
Talk to me. Talk to me, Mike. Don't tease me at 9:40 on this Friday morning. I've got 2 hours of sleep.
We got a coffee shop that said they would host if you guys are up for it.
Give me some names. Kylan's taking your info off air,
Yeah.
Mike, okay?
We'll see what happens.
Let's go.
All right.
All right.
We'll do it. It's a little coffee shop. Thanks, guys. You love listening to you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Mike.
Did we
Kylan, get his info.
Did we
his
get Nathan
info.
back or not? We did not get Nathan back. I'm so bummed. All right, quick timeout. Scotty J's got an epic.
Sorry, Nathan, but I care more about this coffee shop.
centric pop quiz coming up next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. You guys ever notice that Scotty only comes into the studio when it's time to just make mincemeat out of the poor average guy calling in to try and win a Jiffy Lube oil
or gal
change or gal?
We've had some females calling
Yeah,
this week.
I'm
By
all
the
good
way, I
with
want
it.
to make sure we give a shout out to the great Chuck Lofton. After 40 years, the longtime legend, the meteorologist at WTHR, final show this morning.
Oh.
Saw a great tweet this morning that Kevin Gregory, I guess, would be a competitor of his for many, many years, showed up at 2:15 in the morning to meet him in the parking lot and wish him good luck on his final day. So I love that. WTHR going to rename their TV studio the Chuck Lofton Studio. He joined us on race day last year, unfortunately, to give us bad weather news. But shout out to an absolute legend in the city, Chuck Lofton, hanging it up after 40 years.
All right, it is time for Scotty Johnston's Pop Quiz, brought to you by the fine folks at Jiffy Lube Oil, Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985. Let's do it. I got to get a contestant first. Kylan's looking. Did I throw you off there?
No.
Okay.
Corey's on the line. He's ready to go.
Corey, how you doing this morning?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right. Here we go.
Hey, just so you know, this is destiny because my brother is the one that has the Song of Summer 2025. Jamie is calling. So let's go.
Okay.
Josh is your brother, Corey?
Yes, sir.
Man, excellent. Kylan played it earlier,
Good
8:30ish,
bloodlines.
something around
Yeah.
there. Excellent tune.
We like it.
Let's go.
All right. Just let this go in the background.
There it is. There it is.
James is up again. Here we go. There he is. Looking like Tony Monero over there.
Love it. Your station has been a blessing. It is awesome.
You guys are the blessing, believe me. All right, here we go. Question number 1. Corey, the Pacers beat Oklahoma City in Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night. You may have heard that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led all scorers with 38. Who led the Pacers in scoring last night? Was it Tyrese Halliburton, Obi Toppin, Miles Turner, or Pascal Siakam?
I think it was Spicy P with 19.
All right. Question number 2. Either way, you want to go,
I'll take
James?
it. When was the last time that an NBA Finals series began with a 1-point game? Has it never happened before last night? Did it happen last year? Did it happen in 2010? Or did it happen in 1952?
Let's say it's never happened before.
All right.
You, Corey, here. Tyrese Halliburton, game-winning basket last night, 0.3 of a second remaining. 4th time this postseason he has hit a go-ahead or game-tying shot in the final 5 seconds of regulation or overtime. The old record for a single postseason dating back to 97 was 2, held by 8 different players. Name the only player to hit 2 game winners in the final 5 seconds more than once. Is this in the postseason, Scotty? In the postseason, more than once. A, LeBron, B, Robert Horry, C, Reggie, or D, Kobe?
Ooh, let's go Big Shot Bob.
Okay.
You sure, Corey?
I said LeBron, I think.
Are you sure, Corey?
Don't go too far away from home.
Oh, my goodness. Who are the other 2?
Reggie or Kobe?
Reggie. Let's go Reggie. Wow.
Scott is going to throw something at you in a second.
No,
here.
I'm done. I'm done. No more hints.
All right. Pacers' 15-point comeback in the fourth quarter matched the largest comeback in the final period of an NBA Finals game over the past 50 years. 3 teams have now recorded a 15-point fourth-quarter comeback in an NBA Finals game, the last being Rick Carlisle's Dallas Mavericks, who had a big comeback against Miami in 2011. Who was the third team? Was it Boston, the Bulls, the Lakers, or the San Antonio Spurs?
Go with the Lakers.
All right.
All right, to round us out, SGA scored 38 points in last night's Thunder loss. That is the 3rd highest point total for a player in his NBA Finals debut. Who had the most points in their NBA Finals debut? Was it MJ, Allen Iverson, Wilt Chamberlain, or George Mikan?
Ooh, let's go Wilt Chamberlain.
Is that the step-over game? Was it Byron Shaw? Was that Brian Shaw? Is that who he stepped over? I'm trying to think who that was. Maybe it was Tyronn Lue. Maybe he stepped over there.
I mean, it's hard. AI, but it's hard to go against a guy that scored 100 points in a game. I mean, come on.
This is true.
You said it a moment there. All right, here we go. Here are the answers. Pacers beat Oklahoma City in Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night. Shea had 38. Who led the Pacers? He said Pascal Siakam. The answer is Pascal Siakam with 19 points. When was the last time an NBA Finals series began with a one-point game? He said it had never happened before last night. Man, 2 for 2. Tyrese hits the game winner last night, 0.3 of a second remaining. Fourth time this postseason. He's done that with a game-tying field goal or game-winning or go-ahead field goal in the final 5 seconds of regulation or overtime. The old record for a single postseason since the NBA started tracking play-by-play in 1997 was 2. 8 different players did that. Name the only player to hit 2 game winners in the final 5 seconds more than once. I believe he ultimately said Reggie Miller, didn't he?
Got there eventually.
Yeah.
A little bit of hand-holding.
There we go. Ooh, nice little crowd raise there. And then Pacers' 15-point comeback in the fourth quarter matched the largest comeback in the final period of an NBA Finals game in the past 50 years. 3 teams have now had 15-point fourth-quarter comebacks. Rick Carlisle's Dallas Mavericks were one. We saw last night. Who was the other one? He said the Lakers. That's where it ends. The Chicago Bulls got it done, guys. And then, AI is the answer to question number 5. 48 points in his NBA Finals debut against the Lakers back in 2001.
I believe that was the Lakers' only loss during that postseason run. Scotty's nodding his head. See, I know a couple of things.
Really? The entire run? Wow.
Yep.
That's an
True
absurd
David
stat.
versus Goliath feeling. So perhaps we're seeing a new rendition of that with the Pacers.
A day of rest is needed, gentlemen. Kylan Talley, thank you all week long. Is Mark Dykton back, or is Kylan permanent now? Do we know this?
Yeah.
Well, thanks. He's supposed to be back from Florida, though.
All right.
Supposed to, the key phrase.
He's
there.
missing you.
He's going to have some PTO requests right now waiting to get approved.
Yep. Corey gets the Jiffy Lube prize pack there either way. Colin, you're going to be out at Grand Park later on tonight, right?
Whoop, whoop. Yes, I
There we go.
am.
All right.
7 o'clock kickoff.
We'll watch the game on Sunday with all of you and talk about it Monday morning.